Well, everyone, welcome. I'm Nicole DeBoer. I am the Executive Director of the Southwest Minnesota Arts Council. And you have joined us via Zoom, or you may be watching this recording after the fact on our SMAC website. But we are here with Jason Frank, artist out of Ortonville, Minnesota. And he is currently exhibiting in the SMAC Gallery. The SMAC Gallery is located at 509 West Main in Marshall. And Jason's work, his very impressive, impactful exhibit, will be up until August 26th. So you have a lot of time, if you're watching this live, to come and visit the office. The gallery is open from 9 to noon and 1 to 4, Monday through Friday. If you do have a need for setting up a private time to come to the gallery, please give us, please contact us in some way. You could call the office or you could send us an email and we will figure out how to work that out for you. So thanks again for joining us tonight. A couple hostessing things that I wanted to mention is, and a little bit about the SMAC Gallery, is that we are joining live on Zoom August 3rd. Is it August 3rd? Yes, at 5:30 p.m. And the artist Jason Frank is here with us. And what we'll do is I will share a little bit of information about Jason, and I will read his artist statement that he provided to SMAC and a bio that he offered to us so kindly. And then I will certainly allow Jason to say hello and maybe add in anything I might have missed from the information provided. Then we're going to jump over, and Crystal from the SMAC office, Crystal Lawaji, is my right hand when it comes to the gallery. She takes photos and video of every piece of art that is in the exhibit and creates a seamless movie along with some background music. And so we are going to then share the screen and run this video. And I am not sure exactly how long it is, but in general, they run about 7 to 9 minutes. So we'll share the video. And then after that, we'll come back. And you are people joining us on Zoom are more than, we are more than happy to have you ask Jason questions or make comments about his work or even ask SMAC questions. And maybe when you do ask a question or make a comment, if you could introduce yourself so Jason knows who's talking and can respond appropriately. So thanks again for joining us tonight on this SMAC Gallery virtual reception for Jason Frank. I'm going to read Jason's artist statement. 5 years ago, along the eastern shore of a modest pothole lake, not far from the Minnesota River headwaters in Big Stone County, a weary congregation of cottonwoods, a few arthritic box elders, and one snarled snag of sun-bleached cedar found themselves swallowed up by rising waters. Successive years of heavy precipitation had filled their basin past its brim, and by the next summer, 2019, the trees were all swamped and dead. Through seasons of wind and rain, shifting ice and erosive decay, I sought to memorialize the sculpted personalities that began to emerge from the remnants of those once great trees. From driftwood snags dancing the tango to lakeside reflections reminiscent of Japanese marbling, these abstract elementals range from starkly minimalist stump portraits to psychedelic renderings of entropy in motion. Framed as dreamlike snapshots of equilibrium in decline, of atoms liberated from their rigid individual containment, then cycled back into the watery continuum of eternal reoccurrence. Jason Frank's bio. Jason is a photographic artist and naturalist based in Ortonville, Minnesota. His work is deeply influenced by Taoist philosophy and Jungian analysis of mythic imagery, focusing less on explicit documentation of his subjects and more on the poetic impact of landscapes translated through the subtle corridors of the subconscious mind. So we welcome Jason here tonight, joining us. I'm going to turn it over to Jason to say hello before we jump into video.
Hi, thanks, Nicole. And thanks everyone else for being here. And yeah, I don't know what else to say.
That's fine.
You've already read my statement. Yeah. But you know, I just really appreciate the opportunity to be able to display here. And you know, these opportunities have been made possible by SMAC and the generosity of, you know, the grants that I've received. I really appreciate that. And so,
Great.
yeah, it's just some photography of marshlands and floodplain woods. And, you know, I just really enjoyed documenting this one site and seeing how it's changed over the years. So.
Awesome. Well, that being said, thanks again. And I'm going to turn it over to Crystal. She's going to share her screen. So you're going to see your screen change, see the video come up, and hopefully we'll all be able to hear the background music that's going with it and won't have any, crossing fingers, technical problems.
Okay. Sounds good.
last video, I will jump in with just a little bit of notes that when we're talking, I do have slides of each image. So if there's like an image that somebody wanted to see or Jason wanted to bring up to talk about, I can bring up those images as well. So just that for knowledge if you wanted a still picture of any of them to be on the screen.
Great.
Great. Yeah. Thank you, Crystal. That was lovely. Thanks.
Am I back? I seem to be having some technical issues. Okay. I don't need to see that I'm back, but I just wanted to know you could hear me. All right,
Okay.
Great. Well, thanks, Crystal, and thanks, Jason, for trusting us to hang that show. It was a blessing to hang, and it's been so, it's been really, it's a deep show because, you know, he transforms, he takes images of these abstract elementals, these dying trees, and then also on the other side of the room, he transforms them into a real, truly abstract image. And in person during our artist reception, he was talking a little bit about that process. And so I would love to prompt Jason to tell the folks joining just a little bit about how that process goes from actual, or I'm not sure how that's still life photography to the abstract version.
Okay. Yeah. It's a thing I did by accident. And this was just playing around with some editing software that I use. I accidentally hit the wrong button one night and completely transformed the image into this, you know, abstract expressionist thing that I wasn't expecting to see. And so I thought to myself, okay, what did I do there? And so I fiddled around with it a bit and found that I could create these kaleidoscopic images with kind of fractal patterns in a way that I've never seen done before. And so I looked up the process, and it turns out what I was doing was taking 90 degrees north and relocating it to, and so it's called inverting the polar coordinates of the image. And that's kind of a technical thing, but what ended up happening was that, you know, I would take what is concentrated at the top of the image, relocate it to the middle, and so it ends up splitting the image into a kaleidoscopic pattern, and then you can duplicate that and duplicate it again. You can do a mirror image effect with that. You can invert the image. And so you get these geometrical patterns. I'm really interested in symmetry. I look for symmetrical patterns that occur in nature like that. I like to look for, you know, shadows and formations that look like faces or images in rocks and trees. I'm always out looking for you know, things like that. And so when I discovered this process, I thought, wow, that you know, it kind of ties into the whole theme of what I've been working on the last few years, which has been documenting entropy and decay, things that I find out here. So.
That's great. That's great, Jason. We do have a little bit of a lag from your video to your verbal, but that's fine. What I'm picking up most of it, even though I have to pause and listen and wait till the audio catches up. So
Mhm.
I open the floor to our joiners tonight to ask questions or make comments or just say hello to Jason. You can just go off mute and introduce yourself and make your comment. So thanks for everybody for being here.
Hi, I'm Carolyn from SMAC staff, and I just really enjoyed the titles that you chose for your pieces. They seemed really fun, but also to really encapsulate what was going on in the image. And I just was curious about your process of choosing titles for those images.
Well, that's an interesting question. I came up with the titles about 2 hours before I brought them down to Marshall. So, and that was just me subjecting myself to looking at them and just challenging myself. Okay, what is the thought into your mind, and how would you like to word that?
Hmm.
And so that's how I came up with the titles. So those titles haven't been lurking, taken 1 or 2 years ago. And so, yeah, they haven't been titled so. And speaking to that does, I guess I could make a comment about just how I work that way. I'm very feeling based when I'm making art. When I'm looking for scenes to shoot, it's very much based on how I feel about it at the time. And so oftentimes I would come to this location and it just didn't feel right. The conditions didn't feel right for photography. I didn't feel that the weather conditions, the lighting, the time of day was right. And so I would, briefly take notes and say, okay, try coming back during such and such lighting conditions, such and such time of the day, such and such time of the year even. And so, a lot of it has just been about the feeling of what I'm feeling when I'm at that scene. So
Great. Anyone go ahead and jump in?
Hi, I'm Sherry Buzzio, former SMAC board member from Spicer. Really enjoy seeing your artwork, Jason. I don't remember if I was on one of the grant panels, but congratulations on your project. It's so intriguing.
Thank you.
And I was curious if your photography, is it mounted on canvas? I'm sitting here at a remote location, so it looks like.
Yeah, there's a lot that are on canvas, and then the framed pieces are actual photo print paper, and then I made the frames myself out of driftwood and bark.
So is the and that wood came from that location as well?
Yes, most of the shed cottonwood bark and the elm bark location. You'll see milkweed pods. Those came from the same location. The walnut shells came from the same location. The only thing that's not from the same location are some of the rocks that I've glued to the frames, which came from the North Shore. So if you're a rock hunter, you'll be able to identify those as Lake Superior rocks.
It's an agate, not a stone. No. Oh, it's beautiful work. It makes me want to visit that area as well. It's hard to believe that there was abundant water not that long ago.
Yeah, for sure.
I hope to get your exhibit live.
Yeah, it's pretty dry out here right now. But interestingly, this lake that I've been photographing, the water there is actually higher than it was last year.
Good to hear.
Oh, yeah. Like there's a picture. I don't know, Crystal, if you could pull it up. The one that says the word high. That was one of the first things that caught my eye about this place after these giant trees had fallen down. There was two stumps right next to each other that spelled the word high, H-I. You know, so it just looked, and so I called that one salutations.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. That's so interesting.
And
Well, I hope I can get to your exhibit.
if you were to see that now, it would just be the very tips of the stumps. So yeah, right there.
Can you see it up there now, bigger?
Far right-hand corner, 2 down from the top.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My gosh.
So right there, you would only be able to see barely the tips of the H and that tip of the I. So that water is, you know, that lake doesn't have any outlet. There's no stream that carries the water out from it. And that's what killed those cottonwood trees so quickly.
And it's called Pothole Lake?
That first image that nope, this is a pothole lake. That's an echo lake in the prairie. It's called a pothole, and it's wet, which means a stream. So there's nothing to naturally drain this body of water. So when the water gets high, and that's what killed these, used to be the trees. And so that first image I had was called High Watermark, and that showed the fairly large cottonwood trees when they first got inundated by the high water a few years ago. And so it's only about 6 miles away from my house, and so I, you know, drive by the place fairly frequently, and I, you know, I'm a bird watcher and good with me, and decided, you know, I'm gonna start. And again, it was just because of the feeling, just the feeling of place. The past 3 years probably take
I know you're breaking up a bit there, Jason. Do you want me to pull up the high water mark picture?
Nicole, you were muted.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm getting some lag on my end. Yeah, if you would, Crystal, that would be
Okay.
great. Just to show
Yep.
yeah.
And I'm sorry I have to go to another commitment, but I will tune in and catch the rest or get to Marshall and visit. Thank you.
Please come see us, Sherry.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, that's so great.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
great.
Yeah.
Well, a question I have, and I don't need to go next, but maybe I could ask the question, and then if it's too deep, you can we can wait for someone else. But my question is what do you think is your next series? Have you started considering what your next passionate series, if maybe it's not maybe not a series? So
I don't know yet. I recently received a job offer And so I've got a new job starting here late September. So I will be the director at Bonanza Education Center
Oh.
here in Big Stone County. So
Congratulations. I'm
that-
so
that-
glad.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I'm
Yeah.
so glad to hear you're staying in our region.
Mhm.
That's
And
great.
so with that, and then I'm also going to be doing a series of legacy funded art and science projects through Pioneer Land Library System. So I'll be doing teaching some art classes here in Ortonville and Graceville this fall and winter, and possibly might be spreading out to some other libraries in the system in the area as well. So
That
right
is
now my
amazing.
focus is going to be on education. So
Mhm. That is amazing. I'm so happy for you and glad to hear that.
Thank you.
That seems like a really good fit.
yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, I think. So
Great. Other questions from our attendees?
I was curious if maybe you could talk a little bit about the pieces behind you on the wall. It looks like there's some of your artworks, and I was just curious if they meant something particular and that's why you have them on the wall, or if those are just your favorites for no particular reason, or why they're up, I guess.
yeah, I can show you a couple. Some are my own, which I just like. I mean, this is just a canvas version of one of the ones I've got there in the gallery, which is one of my personal favorites. This is not one of mine. This is just a black and white nautilus shell. This was done by my mother. My late mother passed away 3 years ago, and so it's just one of many pieces of artwork that I have of hers throughout the house. And so a couple of these other things here are from her. And then I've just got a special rock collection on the shelf there. So
From the video, I couldn't quite tell, was the one by your mom, is that a photo or was it a painting or something else?
I actually drew that with a Sharpie.
Okay, cool.
So yeah. Pen and ink, I guess you could call it.
That is right up Crystal's alley. Crystal is
Yeah.
a pen and ink or an
Yeah,
artist. Yes,
yeah,
the
yeah.
ink artist.
Mm-hmm.
Just pausing, leaving some space. And often on these gallery receptions, these virtual receptions, it's not really about the questions. It's more about giving people the opportunity to see you and meet you and hear you a little bit, talk a little bit. And they may not have been able to come to the in-person reception. So we just appreciate your time with us. I'm gonna open the floor again one more time for any questions or comments. But thank you. Thank you for your time. Everyone that's on the call, thank you for your time.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
As I mentioned, we are recording this. Crystal will use her masterful powers to edit this and get it up on the website, and then it'll be there for all future viewers. So thank you so much. Have a great night, everybody.
All right. Thanks all of you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.